Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Now, let's go into our conversation now. I have Sani Mustapha, Pension Administrator, Senior Technical Advisor of COPHERA, joining me now to talk to us. Good morning, Malam Mustapha.
Good morning, Yusuf Akogu.
Glad to have you on the show. Let's quickly look at the pension reform under the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who sadly passed away yesterday at a hospital in London. He did quite a whole lot. You were you are in the sector, and of course, you know what happened at that time. Can you talk to us about some of the reforms under his watch?
Well, may his soul rest in peace. Is what I call a very public sector president, and he's very decent. He did a lot, but mostly on the defined benefit sector of pension. He ensures that all through his 8 years, pensioners are paid as at when due. Government under the former president really rise to the occasion for those under the defined benefit. Many of the workers whose agencies were privatized by earlier governments were not really put on pension.
Okay, let's go on a very quick break. The shows continue.
Yeah.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth
Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. I have Sani Mustapha back online now. Before we went on that break, Malam Mustapha, you were telling us about some of the reforms in the pension sector under late President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes. President Buhari really tried for pensioners under the defined benefit. I know that many of the workers that served with these privatized agencies were not really captured for pension. They were paid off. Later on, they reached out to President Buhari's government. And as I told you, my own agreement with President Buhari is that there is a constitutional guarantee of pension which cannot be changed by any side agreement. So when these workers, through their union, reach out to the government, President Buhari agrees. And let's say PHCN, Nitel MTEL, Nikon Insurance, Insurance Company of Nigeria, workers that served with Assurance Bank, and then there are workers that were being paid irregularly by their agencies, which also the president graciously agreed that they should come directly to be paid by government. Places like Federal Housing Authority, NDA civilian staff who are having issues, you know, they are not real military, so they cannot be paid by the military pension. So the president agrees that they should come under direct pension payment by the government through Pension Transition Arrangement Directorate. There is also the case of the steel rolling mills, especially that of Delta Steel. They were paid their arrears and they are put on pension. So this is a momentous decision, because government don't go around to add expenses to themselves. government go around to reduce expenses. But as I told you, President Buhari, is like a public sector president. It's a president that believes government should take on all its responsibilities wherever they are. So that is what happened. And we always remember him, that Petard, during those 8 years, are paying their pension as at when due. Of course, you know, Petard is a reform organization, so the way it was arranged, pensioners will be getting their pension, monthly pension, as at when due.
Indeed, a very good one there. Good credit there to the former President Muhammadu Buhari in terms of his reform in the pension industry. I also recall in 2017, President Buhari approved payment of pension arrears to ex-Biafran policemen who were pardoned in 2000. About 500 million naira was approved for them for their payment. They had to wait for 17 years after they were pardoned to get that payment. How will you describe that kind gesture from the former President Muhammadu Buhari?
President Buhari, as I told you, is a very upright person, and anything that government owes you, Buhari will not waste time to pay you. So those people were given the pardon, I think, by President Obasanjo in the year, I think, 2000. But nothing was made. So it was during General Buhari, when the case was brought to him, he now approved that all their pension arrears should be paid and they should be put on monthly pension. Both the police, both the army and the paramilitary among them. These are very old people who never thought that Nigerian government will think of them and pay. I was involved in going to Enugu to do verification. I saw them firsthand. These people really were happy that the government of Nigeria remembered them and paid all their entitlements. Most of them, or some of them, really, when they got the money later on, they died. It is their next of kin that even used the money. But that is to show you the kind of president that we have that time. He has been very good to the defined benefit side.
Indeed. Can you confirm if that payment is still continuing? That is another thing that we should also look at as well. After the pardon, the arrears was paid and they were put on the pension, are they still collecting their pensions?
I can assure you, without batting my eye, that whenever the pension transition arrangement directorate start paying pension, where everybody has approved, there is approval from government, pension doesn't stop. You will be paid until death. If you are paid for 5 years, then everything, goes. You won't be, your next of kin will not get anything. But if you are paid anything less than 5 years, then definitely your next of kin will get the bounce.
Indeed. As we wrap up this conversation now, talk to us about the impact of some of these agencies that were created under the former President Buhari. What are their impacts today? I mean, are they being forgotten by the new reform being put in place by PENCOM?
You mean the pensioners that were being given pension during Buhari?
I'm talking about the agencies that were created. What are the impacts on the pension industry of today?
Well, I can tell you also that all those agencies, most of them are still thriving. This present government, I think, has tried a lot on the payment of pension and also try to see that the contributory pension has really thrived and give to Nigerians a very good or even better service.
All right. As we finally now, before I let you go, there is the issue about withdrawal from pension savings for home acquisition by a lot of Nigerians. What do you make of that? Why do you think a lot of people are turning to pension assets now to, to find a way to own a home in an economy like ours?
Well, thank you very much for that question, Mr. Yusuf Akogu. You know, Nigerians, because of our low salaries, have not been able to gather enough money to build houses for themselves. So the versatility of the contributory pension scheme now came to the rescue. They made a provision under Section 89(2) of the Pension Reform Act. You know, that is the authority to allow people to access 25% of the balance standing against their retirement savings account to access mortgage. This has been welcomed by workers all over Nigeria. So those people that have a mortgage, you know, a mortgage that they want to access, they now look at what is 25% of their retirement savings account. If the figure match, they now approach their pension fund administrator, and then they will be given the guidelines on how to access such funds. This means that funds are now being used to help the real estate sector to thrive. And as well, you are now giving Nigerians chance to own houses. So this report you are saying is like the 2024 report, third quarter and the fourth quarter. In the third quarter, about 3,000 Nigerians were able to access their 25% of their retirement savings account, which was released to mortgage companies for onward transmission to real estate companies, so that the first payment is made where the owners of those houses will now continue to pay until they now acquire the house, maybe in 25 years. But they can get all their papers because of that payment, which they will continue to pay. Then the next quarter, I think the people are upward of 7,000. And the same, these monies were released to mortgage institutions, and the mortgage institutions will now release it to real estate companies, where those people that applied will now be allocated houses. This is one of the versatility of the contributory pension scheme. And more is coming. If I will advise workers in the state, they should go and really picket their government houses, their National Assembly, that they should be aligned with the contributory pension scheme. More and more products are going to come to ease the hardship of Nigerians.
Indeed, a very good one there. Fine. What about the bureaucracy in that sector? Has it been removed?
Sincerely, wherever you see PENCOM involved, bureaucracy is to the barest minimum. Right. And they will not allow such bureaucracy to derail.
All right. I must thank you for your time, Sani Mustapha, pension administrator, former director of corporate services at PITAD, and of course, senior technical advisor of COPHERA. I must thank you for your time and contribution on Business Daily today. We appreciate your time.